In psychology, there's a principle or a law of becoming that simply says that each person is in a continual process of becoming or evolving and growing in the direction of his or her dominant thoughts. Your body is also in a state of becoming. At a normal rate of cell death and replenishment, you end up with a brand new body every 7 years. And while your physical evolution in becoming is affected by the food that you put into your body, your mental evolution and becoming is largely determined by the thoughts that you put into your mind. Anything that you think about long enough and hard enough eventually becomes a part of your mental processes, exerting its force on your attitudes and on your behavior. The law of concentration says that anything you dwell upon grows in your reality. You are a self-made man or woman. You are where you are and what you are because of the thoughts that you have allowed to preoccupy your mind. Whatever you've dwelled upon over the months and years, you have become, and you are right now, today.
I have a friend who has a little stick-on that he gives you to stick anywhere you want, and it just says C-Y-T. Control your thoughts. Control your thoughts. And if you can control your thoughts, you can control everything else. Your thoughts are the guidance mechanism of your life. So control your thoughts. And when you control your thoughts determine your feelings. By the way, great question, which comes first, thoughts or feelings? And the answer is always thought. And I'll tell you why. It's because it is the thought that creates the feeling. It's how you think about something that is happening in your life that triggers the emotion. The way you explain things to yourself largely determines your emotions, it largely determines your thoughts, your reactions, your responses, largely determines the total quality of your life, how you explain things to yourself.
I want you to make a test that will last 30 days. Now, it isn't going to be easy. If you'll give it a good try, it will completely change your life for the better. The results of your 30-day experiment will be in direct proportion to the effort you put forth. Now I'll try to outline the 30-day test I want you to make. Now keep in mind that you have nothing to lose by making this test, and everything you could possibly want to gain. First, it's understanding emotionally, as well as intellectually, that we literally become what we think about, that we must control our thoughts if we're to control our lives. It's understanding fully that, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. There are two things that may be said of everyone. Each of us wants something, and each of us is afraid of something. I want you to write on a card what it is you want more than anything else. It may be more money. Perhaps you'd like to double your income or make a specific amount of money. It may be a beautiful home. It may be success at your job. It may be a particular position in life. It could be a more harmonious family. Each of us wants something. Write down on your card specifically what it is that you want. Make sure it's a single goal and clearly defined. You needn't show it to anyone, but carry it with you so that you can look at it several times a day. Think about it in a cheerful, relaxed, positive way each morning when you get up, and immediately you have something to work for, something to get out of bed for, something to live for. Look at it every chance you get during the day and just before going to bed at night. As you look at it, remember that you must become what you think about, and since you're thinking about your goal, you realize that soon it will be yours. Now we come to the difficult part. Difficult because it means the formation of what is probably a brand new habit, and new habits are not easily formed. Once formed, however, it'll follow you for the rest of your life. Stop thinking about what it is you fear. Each time a fearful or negative thought comes into your consciousness, replace it with a mental picture of your positive and worthwhile goal. There will come times when you will feel like giving up. It's easier for a human being to think negatively than positively. That's why only 5% are successful. You must begin now to place yourself in that group. For 30 days, you must take control of your mind. It will think only about what you permit it to think. The moment you decide on a goal to work toward, you're immediately a successful person. You're then in that rare and successful category of people who know where they're going. Out of every 100 people, you belong to the top 5. Don't concern yourself too much with how you're going to achieve your goal. Leave that completely to a power greater than yourself. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord. Remember these words from the Sermon on the Mount, and remember them well. Keep them constantly before you this month of your test. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. It's as marvelous and as simple as that. In fact, it's so simple that in our seemingly complicated world, it's difficult for an adult to understand that all he needs is a purpose and faith. For 30 days, do your best. If you should fail during your first 30 days, by that I mean suddenly find yourself overwhelmed by negative thoughts, you've got to start over again from that point and go 30 more days. Gradually, your new habit will form, until you find yourself one of that wonderful minority to whom virtually nothing is impossible. Don't forget the card. It's vitally important as you begin this new way of living. On one side of the card, write your goal, whatever it may be. On the other side, write the words we've quoted from the Sermon on the Mount. In your spare time during your test period, read books that will help you. Inspirational books like Dorothea Brand's Wake Up and Live, The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and other books that instruct and inspire. Nothing great was ever accomplished without inspiration. Above all, don't worry. Worry brings fear, and fear is crippling. The only thing that can cause you to worry during your test is trying to do it all yourself. Know that all you have to do is hold your goal before you. Everything else will take care of itself. Remember also to keep calm and cheerful. Don't let petty things annoy you and get you off course. Remember that you must reap that which you sow. If you sow negative thoughts, your life will be filled with negative things. If you sow positive thoughts, your life will be cheerful, successful, and positive. Now, gradually, you'll have a tendency to forget what you've heard on this record. Play it often. Keep reminding yourself of what you must do to form this new habit. Make your 30-day test. Then repeat it. Then repeat it again. Each time it will become more a part of you until you'll wonder how you could ever have lived any other way. Live this new way, and the floodgates of abundance will open and pour over you more riches than you may have dreamed existed. Money? Yes, lots of it. But what's more important, you'll have peace. You'll be in that wonderful minority who lead calm, cheerful, successful lives. Start today. You have nothing to lose, but you have a life to win.
Thought for the average person is a reflex process. In other words, things happen and we react in thought. We become worried, we become fearful, we become concerned and anxious, or on the other hand, we become happy and inspired. And we assume, and this assumption is almost universally prevalent among people, we assume that the thoughts that we think are produced by the circumstances that we experience. And that mind is something that we hold within our skull by which we can deal with the world out there. Things happen and we react, we think, and we say, well, of course I'm upset. You'd be upset too if you had the same experiences. Life is a continuous reaction to outside stimuli to the average person. So one may be happy or sad, or life has meaning or is meaningless by evidence of what happens to us from day to day. But experiences do not cause thoughts. Emphasize, experiences do not cause thoughts. Someone may do something to you, and he may give you a perfect opportunity to be upset if you want to be upset. But if you don't want to be upset, you needn't be upset, you see. The incident happens. There's no use denying it. It's not saying that he didn't say it or it didn't happen or they're not doing these things in the world out there. They've happened, and it becomes history once it's happened. But as far as your experience is concerned, the incident is completely external. It's always on the outside. What happens in your mind happens as a result of your attitudes and your feelings and your habit patterns. Your mind is your domain. You think what you want to think, or you think what you have habitually thought by a certain tendency of habit patterns. Your thoughts are your reactions to the incident, always. The incident did not make the thought. It is your mind, and you have been thinking and reacting in thought according to the level of your consciousness. I was talking to a young chap in a hotel one day. He was one of the hotel clerks. There's a lot of people coming in for a convention, and they were harassed, and people were there early, and other people were staying late, and you know, the usual thing that happens in hotels. And one of them was saying, "Boy, I sure have problems tonight." And one could feel sorry for him. But I talked to one of the other clerks a little later, and he had an entirely different thought. He said, "You know, people sure have problems tonight." Both of them dealing with the same experience, one of them dealing with what I call horizontal thought, the other dealing with vertical thought. I have problems, people have problems. But I have problems because of the way I'm reacting to people problems. But if I keep myself in perfect peace, then I'm simply concerned that people have problems, but they're on the outside. Then I can handle them. Then I can deal with them. When was the last time you said, "He makes me so mad," or "That just teased me off"? And of course, this is not correct at all. No one ever makes you mad. No one ever gets you upset. As I say often, you are upset because you're upsettable. You're angry because you have a anger consciousness that is touched like a little red button that causes it to blow up within yourself. But the anger is already within.
Now, we can use all kinds of terms: getting rich, becoming wealthy. Sometimes rich and wealthy is a little bit heavy, where someone might say, "I don't need to be rich." But, you know, rich is always in each person's concept of rich. You know, it used to be a long time ago, rich was being a millionaire, but, you know, a millionaire, $1 million is not that much anymore. So everything is relative. But someone says, "Well, I don't want to think of myself as trying to get rich." So, you know, there's other language we can use from a variety of semantics. You know, we can choose what's more comfortable. Becoming wealthy. The term wealthy in everybody's mind is probably a little different of what the amount is or what the accumulation is. So that's interesting. Rich or wealthy. But here's one concept I think everybody can comprehend, even the kids, and that's to someday be financially independent. Being able to live from the income of your personal resources, that's a goal everybody should set. Now, if you're a little late coming to this plan, you know, you might have to, you know, do a little more stretching than the average person would. But starting at age 15, it's easy to pencil out where with a normal average income and the increases every year to be financially independent by age 35, 40 at the latest, if you have a good plan. Now, the reason why the money all disappears is not because it doesn't exist. It's because the money isn't put in the right plan. Now, money's not the only value. But make this note, it is one value. It's not the only one, but it is one. Money is not the only measure of success, but it is one measure. That your current income is a measure of your personal value to the marketplace. If your current value to the marketplace is $5 an hour, you get the $5. So, not that a person is only worth $5, but their value to the marketplace is only worth $5. But it's possible to very quickly change those numbers by changing your value. But the numbers do illustrate the value. We cannot leave that concept out. So somebody says, "You mean where I am financially is an illustration of who I am?" And the answer is yes. Now, it's not the only measure. I'm not saying it's the only one, but I'm saying it is one. There's a lot of other ways to measure a person's value as a father, a person's value as a mother, a person's value as a friend, as a colleague, of course. But we can't leave the money out. Now, here's why money is an easy measure. It's easy to count. Let's count. See, there's nothing better than the truth. You don't need to fool with the truth. It is so dynamic in uncovering the errors of our ways and helping us to set up new disciplines to change it all, starting today, starting overnight, starting anytime. Now, you could wait to start a plan for a couple of years, but why not do it now? Some people have to wrestle with, and I had a few questions on, is it okay to strive to be rich? Is it okay to want to be wealthy? Is it okay to go for it? I had to come to grips with that. Some people say, well, it'd be better to renounce all worldly goods and just live a very poverty, spiritual life. And that's one concept. I've got another concept. Try this on for size. If you could do better, should you? That's an interesting concept to consider. Why would you leave the biggest share of your life unexplored in terms of personal development and what that might have achieved, either in the marketplace or at home as a father? Someone says, well, I'm not going for being rich. I don't think that's really the healthy thing to do. So everybody has to wrestle with that, and I understand that. But I think one conclusion we could come to, with a good, simple, practical plan, there's no reason why you can't accumulate the resources to be financially independent. Lydia Colon invests $1 in her enterprise, selling a product she believed in. Here was her first investment, desperation. She says, my kids are hungry. I got to make this work. If this doesn't work, what will I do? That's called great incentive. My friend Bill Bailey went to Chicago as a teenager after he got out of high school. And the first job he got was night janitor. Someone says, Bill, why would you settle for night janitor? He said, malnutrition. Right? You work at whatever you can possibly get. When you get hungry, right? You go to work somewhere. Night janitor, don't matter where it is. Now he's rich and, he's financially independent, but first job, night janitor. Now here's the next investment she made. Determination. I will find someone. First she said, I must find someone. Desperation. Second, she said, I will find someone before this first day is over. Sure enough, she found someone. And she said, if it works once, it'll work again. But the next person said no. Next person said no. Now what must you invest? Courage. Courage is more valuable than money. If you've only got $1 and a lot of courage, I'm telling you, you got a good future ahead of you. Courage in spite of. Humans can do the most incredible things no matter what happens. Tell us about it. Haven't we heard the stories? There's probably some recent ones from Kosovo that we haven't even heard yet that are some of the most classic, unbelievable stories of being in the depths of hell and finally making it out. Humans, you can't sell humans short. Courage, in spite of, not because of, but in spite of. Now, once she's sold 3 or 4 and gotten going, here's what now takes over, ambition. Well, if I can sell 3, I can sell 33. If I can sell 33, I can sell 103. Wow, now she's now dazzled by her own dreams of the future. Try this one on for size, faith. Now she begins to believe, I've got a good product. This is probably a good company. And she then starts to believe in herself. Lydia, single mother, 2 kids, no job. My gosh, I'm gonna pull it off. Her self-esteem starts to soar. These are investments that are unmatched. Money can't touch it. What if you had $1 million and no courage? You'd be poor. You wouldn't be rich. Now here's the next one. It's the reason why she's a millionaire today. Ingenuity. Putting your brains to work. Probably up until now, you've put about 1/10 of your brain power to work. What if you employed the other 9/10? You can't believe what can happen. Humans can come up with the most intriguing things to do. Ingenuity. What's ingenuity worth? A fortune. It's more valuable than money. All you need is $1 and plenty of ingenuity. Figuring out a way to make it work, make it work, make it work. Next, heart and soul. I mean, what's a substitute for heart and soul? It ain't money. Money can't buy heart and soul. And heart and soul is more valuable than $1 million. $1 million without heart and soul, you have no life. You are ineffective. But heart and soul is like magic. It's what we call the unseen magic that moves people to buy, moves people to make decisions, moves people to act, moves people to respond. Heart and soul. Next, personality. You just got to spruce up and sharpen up your own personality. You've got plenty of personality. Just get it developed to where it's effective every day. It's effective no matter who you talk to, whether it's a child or whether it's a business person, whether it's a rich person, poor person. A unique personality that is at home anywhere. Here's the ultimate investment, charisma. Ultimate sophistication, charisma. With a touch of humility. All of that list is more valuable than money. With $1 and the list I just gave you, the world is yours. I mean, it belongs to you. Whatever piece of it you desire, whatever development you wish for your life. Capital, there is some kind of capital and there is some kind of capital. But here's what you can do with $1 and the rest of this investment of yourself and your person. You can secure your fortune. Key phrase, you lack not the resources. You don't lack the mental resources. You don't lack the financial resources. Here's the key to the dollar. Depends on where you invest it. Depends on where you spend it. I mean, what are you going to do with this dollar? You say, well, it's only $1. No, you don't understand. You can, if you wish, you can turn it instead of into a Coca-Cola, you could turn it into capital. And $1 turned into capital instead of a Coca-Cola, what's the difference? The difference is a fortune. The Coca-Cola is soon gone, but the fortune lasts forever. Everybody's got the money. It depends on where you put it. We all have desires. We all want to do something worthwhile. We all want to be meaningful to our family. We all want to be recognized. We all want to have satisfaction. We were meant for enterprise. We've all got those similar desires. But here's what people are looking for that you've got now in your hands to take to the marketplace, and that's called ways and means. Ways and means to go from here to there. Ways and means to go from where I am to where I want to finally be. Ways and means to take what I've got, because I can't take any more than what I've got and turn it into more than I've got. What is the magic of that? And the magic is to find opportunity which provides for you the ways and the means. So, that journey of 5 years that I was with Mr. Schoaf before he died was the most extraordinary time of my life in terms of business, in terms of income, in terms of life change, in terms of the ideas he exposed for me as far as leadership is concerned, understanding the marketplace, understanding banks and money, understanding capitalism, understanding people, how to work with people, communication, all that stuff I learned during that 5 years. And I've applied it in many different ways. And I've diversified my enterprises now around the world. But the drama that affected my life all those years ago, that happened to me during that 5-year period between when I was 25 and 30, that was the drama of my life. And I know that some of you probably, you're just now beginning this drama. Maybe not at age 25, but it doesn't matter what age. Make this note. Any 6 years you want to. I did it between ages 25 and 31. Went from 0 to a millionaire. Any 6 years you pick, you can dramatically affect your life. You can dramatically change course. You can dramatically alter the outcome of your daily input. Any 6 years you want to pick. Because once in a while someone says, well, Mr. Rohn, I've heard your story between ages 25 and 31. All this drama happened for you, but I'm 40. And I says, then you do it between 40 and 46. So make the note. Any 6 years you pick, any 5 years you pick, 6 years you pick, here's what any 6 years you pick can be. Drastically different than the last 6. being able to design your own future, being able to make it as big as you want to, take your time if you want to, slow as you want to, fast as you want to. Build it as big as you want to, as wide as you want to, as high as you want to, go as far as you want to, cash in as much as you want to. This is called the American dream coming true. Yes, there's the American dream of the young lad that started in the mailroom and now he's the chief executive of the corporation. But how many stories like there are there? There's not millions. So here was one of the first lessons I learned. Profits are better than wages. It's noble to earn wages and make a living, but it's exciting to earn profits and make a fortune. Because you can earn a profit long before you can earn a wage, legitimately. Almost everybody wishes for that. If I could have a business, right? If I could be my own boss, if I could come and go as I pleased, if I could, grow as fast as I wanted to grow, a lot faster than I can do on an ordinary orthodox job. So it's easy to teach these little principles. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. This is what I taught in Russia. Active capital means buy, sell, or sell, buy. It depends on your circumstances. If you have to sell, buy, you sell, buy. If you can do it, then you buy, sell. Or whatever way to, earn a profit. If you teach kids the splendid joy of being rich, if you teach kids the unbelievable power of being financially independent, if you teach them the unbelievable feeling of being capable, of having skills, of having influence, of being somebody, they'll go for it. Now, if they don't go for that, they're going to substitute it with something else. Something else we really don't care for. Some other kind of high, rather than earning money, rather than being responsible, rather than the joy of giving service, rather than all these joys. They're probably going to go for something else. So we got to keep their minds busy with stuff like this. Figure out ways to get this money out there so that it earns you this. And find out some ways to start earning profit yourself. Some of the notes I taught in Russia on capitalism versus communism. Here's what capital is. The Russians did not understand this because they weren't taught. Here's what capital is. Capital is any value you set aside. And the easiest to identify is your money. Any value you set aside to be invested in an enterprise that brings value to the public with the hopes of making a profit. Now, the reason why that was foreign to the Russians was because up until the fall of communism, making a profit was illegal. You couldn't go into business for yourself. You had to work for the all-knowing state. Everybody was employed by the state because the state owned all the resources. So you couldn't make a profit. Now, when I give this simple little analysis, the Russians go crazy. They said, well, we could have done that for the last 85 years. That's right. We could have built a dynamic society like America. That's right. But now you got to start setting aside some value to be invested in an enterprise that you're responsible for bringing value to the marketplace with the hope of making a profit. That's called capitalism. Now, here's what else I told them. Here's what you can set aside that's more important than money. Now, this money that you set aside is like seed corn for the farmer. What would you do with seed corn? Number one, protect it with a vengeance. Here's what you wouldn't do with it. Spend it. Here's what you wouldn't do with it. Give it away. You can't do that with your capital. You cannot be benevolent with your capital. With your profits, yes. With your capital, no. This is seed corn. Here's what you wouldn't do with your seed corn. Eat it. Because now you've got no crop come harvest. So you wouldn't spend it and you wouldn't lose it. And you wouldn't give it away and you wouldn't eat it. It's to be set aside and protected because it's the investment for the future. To be kept for the time when you invest it in an enterprise that brings value to the marketplace with the hopes of making a profit. And this enterprise bringing value to the marketplace with the hope of making a profit is just as simple as a child that buys a bottle of soap for $2 and sells it for $3. He brings value to the marketplace by taking this $2 of capital and going next door to Mrs. Jones and selling her a bottle of soap for $3. Now he's got $3, but 2 is capital still set aside to invest in the next bottle. That is capitalism. But here's what's exciting. It's not all there is to capitalism. Time is more valuable than capital. Time you set aside, not to be eaten, not to be wasted, not to be given away. Time you set aside to be invested in an enterprise that brings value to the marketplace with the hope of making a profit. Now we have capital money and we have capital time. How valuable is time? Time properly invested is worth a fortune. Time wasted is worth devastation. But it's worth a fortune if you invest it properly. Everybody's got the money. Everybody's got the time. Everybody's got the imagination and the mental and the spiritual and the social resources. Everybody's got the stuff. It depends on how you use it and where you put it and where you invest it, how it turns out for you and for your life.
Need a little pick-me-up today? Welcome to the new Fresh Motivation app, where you'll find daily motivation, daily quotes. Listen to your favorite speeches in the background or with a black screen, so nothing interrupts your motivational moment, where you can create your personal profile, create playlists of your favorite speeches and quotes, add personal notes, and start setting goals. Fresh Motivation, the home of motivation. Get it now for free on Google Play.